Before we get going into the video, my name is Brando for the new viewers. I'm the founder of Brandlux Media. We are an e-commerce growth agency. We've been able and so fortunate to work with 100 plus partners. And so the reason I started this channel is to document every framework that I know is proven to work and that actually work so that you can get some value from it and, hopefully make your business a success. With no further ado, I hope you enjoy this video. In this video, I'm going to bring you through the exact 8-figure e-commerce team structure. And on the same time, I'm going to speak about the exact SOPs and tracking systems that the team uses to get results. So it's going to be a very in-depth video about both of these very important topics. And I'm excited because I've actually never spoke about team structure. I've actually never done that. So I'm excited about this topic. With no further ado, let's get right into it. There's a lot to cover. Great, let's get it going. So I'm going to cover team structure over here, and then I'm going to shift over to a doc on the other side on Chrome and show you some systems and tracking systems that are absolutely necessary if you want to do this right. Now, why is a team structure important? First of all, I always like to say, if you want to build, try to build to sell, even if you don't sell. Because typically, when you build to sell, you build well, and you build in a way that's very organized, and you have procedures, right? You have SOPs, you have team structures, you have a very, very organized way of running a business. And so at the end of the day, if you want to get to multiple 7 figures consistently, right? Or 8 figures, of course, it's kind of hard to do it alone, or you can do it alone, but it's really hard to maintain. So you can get maybe a 7-figure month, but then because of a trend or because you're good at marketing, but then maintaining that because of the creative input that you need becomes extremely impossible, almost impossible. Now, to run an 8-figure business, e-commerce, you don't need a team of 20 people, 30 people, 40 people. You need 6, 7, 8 people, thought well, strategic people that have or were either maybe entrepreneurs in the past, kind of like our own team members actually at the agency, or are just really aware of how to build ads and actually write scripts that work. Now, let me bring you through this team structure. First of all, just so you know that I know what I'm talking about, this is just one of our clients. We have multiple clients. We typically work with 10 to 15 clients at the same time. I've worked with over 100 businesses, so I've been able to really look behind the scenes of how these businesses operate. And so this is just a client. You can take, if you want to see more results and clients and proof, call it whatever you want, take a look at my other videos. I literally show you a bunch of different things. So I'm not going to talk about this too much. I'm going to talk about the team structure. Now, this is specifically for advertising, okay? And what I envision is that there's directors and team structure. Let's call this the team pod for paid ads, okay? And so what I envision is that every little department, you can either create a bigger team that has different directors within one pod, or you can just have mini pods with 3, 4, 5 people each, depending on how you want to scale. But in this video, I'm going to talk specifically about scaling paid ads and the team required to scale paid ads. So there's going to be something called a pod director, and this pod director basically makes sure it's like a mini CEO, right? Makes sure that everything is running smoothly under the pod, right? And I'm going to go through exactly what I mean by that. But they're basically a mini CEO for this department, okay? And then under them, there's basically a head of performance, and in parallel, there's a creative UGC director. So both of these roles are senior roles, okay? They're not juniors, they're seniors. And they're in parallel because they're very, very important when it comes to the success of a business. And so the head of performance, basically, here I basically, forget about some of the things that I read, that I talk about over here, because these are more things related to my agency. Let me actually just take them away because some of these are not even, they wouldn't make too much sense from an e-commerce, owner perspective. So head of performance just makes sure that they run strategies. So they come up with strategies and proven concepts. They do a lot of market research behind how things should be managed from a media buying standpoint and also from a creative standpoint. And so they basically manage the media buyers and the copywriter and creative strategist to give them some tasks and inspirations and basically manage them. And then the creative strategist and copywriter that is a both role, at least in our company, then goes ahead and outsources, not really outsources, but gives the tasks to the video editors. Now, this person can either give the tasks to them, or this person can basically give a task that is like more general, and then ping all the people required to complete that task. Okay, so this is typically how we do it. And so if there's like concept number 1 to test, and the concept number 1 needs new copy and 1 new video, then they would and of course the ads to be launched, then there would be like 3 subtasks under 1 main task, right? So the task is to launch an ad, and so one of the tasks would be, okay, creative strategist, come up with a concept with this inspiration. And so they would come up with a concept, an AI script, ad copy, right? Basically the entire structure of the advert, of the ad. And then the second task would be, okay, make sure editor number 1 to create videos just like this one with inspiration, and then media buyer, make sure to launch everything once all these things are completed. This is kind of like a high level understanding, kind of like a role of the head of performance. And of course, a bigger role here is to make sure that this person monitors the media buying side as well. So we do have, you would have a media buyer to handle everything, but you still want a person that monitors that media buyer and makes sure that budgets are being, hit, that we're hitting KPI, and that we're utilizing, the right frameworks to scale. On the other side, there's a creative UGC director. So this is basically, sometimes this person can actually act as a task manager. So even if the head of performance, so I guess this should be a slightly higher role. This is maybe the better way to put it like this. It's slightly a senior role compared to the creative UGC director, because this person basically comes up with the ideas. It doesn't always have to be like this though. And then this person basically does the research on those creative concepts, and also finds UGC people. So this is basically their UGC recruiter. And sometimes this person over here will have like maybe a VA or an assistant on the side to help them with like outreach and do stuff like that. So if your team is like, once again, this is based on demand and based on numbers and based on KPIs, but this is just like, a structure. So a VA could be, let's just put it over here, could be right below as like a junior role, kind of like a secretary for the UGC director. And the UGC director and the head of performance are always in communication, because this is mainly like finding creative inspirations, finding UGC people, also sometimes building scripts and finding winning scripts, and then of course having the creative strategist actually finalize the idea. But these 3 people are basically, at least these 2 are in parallel and in sync about the creative foundation. And they typically either manage tasks, like this person, they manage the tasks that the head of performance gave, or they do both at the same time. So that's why they're kind of in parallel. And in most cases, the head of performance is maybe more of a senior role compared to, I wouldn't say senior role, I would say maybe on top when it comes to like the pyramid of this pod, because they have more responsibilities. That's mainly why, not because they're more important, just they have more responsibilities to like track performance and stuff like that. Okay, so this should be how it is. Then there's a graphic designer. You probably don't need more than 1 graphic designer, because 1 graphic designer, if you have them full time, they can probably produce like so many image ads more than what you need. And then either 1 video editor or 2 video editors depending on your volume, but typically 8 figures, you probably need 2 or 3 video editors. If you have them full time, like once again, they can basically pump videos every day. You probably need 1 if you want to second part time. So this is kind of the structure that I've seen work very, very well, and it's very, very simple and scalable. Now, of course, you can make so many different variations to this team structure, but this is what works well and what I've seen work very well. Now, let me just hop on the other sheet to actually show you what it actually takes to have this team work very well, because there's so many tracking systems and SOPs. So let me hop on the other side and show you. Great, so as you probably noticed, I changed clothes. It is the next day. I did not have time to do it yesterday, so I'm finishing up today. So let's finish up the circle here. We talked about team structure. Let's actually talk about the exact SOPs and procedures and tracking systems that at least my team uses to make sure that we document everything. We keep track on what has been tested. We keep track on what has been worked, like what is working right now and why. And basically, this is an entire documentation sheet that allows us to understand what's working and also what has been done in the past before. Okay, so that we can, let's say 3 months from now, we want to see what we did today. We can go ahead and go back and see and take a look at our entire history, right? It's important to document everything in order to make the best decisions that you can make for your that are calculated for your business. So this sheet over here, now this is just mostly for like client stuff, so onboarding, so you probably don't even need this. Maybe this is where you put your logins, you put your credentials, you put your passwords, whatever you want, just to have like one specific sheet. And then this sheet is just basically dedicated towards competitors. And so what we do is, as you see, it's very simple. You can pretty much like break it down however you want. We just have something very simple like that, where we put the competitor name, the ad link where we got the inspiration, why you like, what do you like about the ad, the landing pages, etc. This is of course just a random demo, so we would have had also landing pages over here, and then the breakdown of the ad and what we should do, the creative concept, and basically just really study the competition. As you can see here, like what we tend to do for our clients is that we fill it up as much as possible, and every week we try to study something, a new ad, a new creative concept, a new competitor, right? So we want to be super on top of the game when it comes to creative concepts and what is working right now in the market. Then we have a sheet with ad IDs. It's not really like necessarily, but it helps us keep the ad IDs for Meta mainly, or honestly for whatever platform. And then there's something called the daily report, and this is kind of like where it gets very creative. What we have is basically this system that is color coded, and that allows us to make not predictions. We're not like magicians here, but make calculated number-based decisions based on what the numbers are telling us. We never want to be emotional about our marketing and the numbers, right? We always want to make analytical decisions and be analytical nerds, as I always like to say. So basically CPMs, and so we notice that these are higher than usual. They're red. When they're better, they're green, right? Same thing with ROAS and MER metrics. And then of course we have custom metrics like over here about CPA daily, sales, right? Total conversion value, ROAS daily, ROAS from the start, since we started running the ads, right? Everything is basically documented over here, and of course you can kind of make it your own. So this is a foundation for the media buying. Our head of performance that we spoke about yesterday, if I can pull it up, this one over here, this guy basically spends a lot of time over here. The creative director doesn't really spend too much time there because they're more like of a creative not creative strategist, but like a creative director, literally. So they spend most of their time in another sheet, which I'm going to show you, but head of performance is mostly like making things profitable and making things work. And so that's kind of their role over here. And so this is really important. Then we have a creative testing tracker. Okay, this is actually, let me actually talk about this other sheet before. Okay, so we have a creative concept sheet. Okay, and whenever we onboard a new client, I'm just talking about my procedures within my agency, but you can do this for your own company, like one company, not like 10 clients, right? And so you would put all of your, as soon as you start and you go all in on the sheet, you would put all of your angles and messagings over here. So like, for example, we're testing like a facial sculptor in this scenario. And so like there's a double chin angle, there's an instant lift that the device does for you. There's the reverse aging angle, snatched jawline, turkey neck, spot treatment at home, avoid surgery instead of doing surgery, use this, right? All of these are basically different angles that we can position to the market. And then these are basically, we have like 41 creative concepts with inspo links. So my team knows exactly, okay, we're gonna do this angle with, how do you do this? Yeah, so this angle with these two or these three creative concepts, and then these 2 or 3 hooks, right? This would be basically the numbers of hooks that we come up for the brand, right? So of course it's blank here, but we also have like a resource where we use like 500-600 hooks. We have that in our private community. All of this is in our private community, but you get the point over here. And so we have statics, we have advertorials, we have the traditional UGC video, we have review mashups, podcast style of like advertorials, or sorry, ads and stuff like that. AI songs, ASMR is a super popular one. And then we just take a lot of inspiration from here. So what ends up happening is that even before we start doing anything with like content, we already have the next 3 to 6 months mapped out. We're gonna test these 10 angles, these 15 angles, whatever, and with these creative concepts, and we're just, everything is mapped out. Once we do this, then this is how we're able to essentially document every single test that we decide to test, right? Every ad set that we decide to test is basically being documented over here. And eventually you're gonna have a super mega ultra long sheet. But the good thing about this is that you can actually filter by product, you can filter by date, you can filter by month, you can filter by whatever concept, right? Everything. And of course, what we do is that one test equals, like, this is like the ad set name, of course. And typically what we do at our company is that each ad set, whether it's an ABO or a CBO, is typically either it's like a marketing angle with a creative concept number one, or a complete different marketing angle with the same creative concept, or the same marketing angle with a different creative concept. So like we kind of mix it, and so each ad set is basically a unique test, right? Which is really important. We don't want to just duplicate randomly, right? And so this is basically the test. We track the date, the month of the year where it was launched, the product, the break even, the concept that we're testing, and then of course here, whatever, we have like an Asana task link if you use Asana, and then the marketing angle that we used, and whatever, avatar, emotion, the hook that we used, the messaging that we used, the ad, this would be the ad copy link, which we link to another sheet, which I'm going to show you in just a second. And then whether it was an image or a video, we link it over here. And by the way, like when you change this to video, it's going to change also over here. So everything, this is basically like a formula that fills up by itself, right? And then we have a creative link. This is the actual creative. Of course, this is a demo, so bear with me. This is just an example. And then the status of the ad, whether it's live. And then you get to track. What I would do is have a VA go in here and update it like every 2, 3, 4, 5 days, whenever you can, maybe a couple times a week. And then you can basically determine the result. To be determined is like maybe it didn't spend enough and we still need to analyze. Break even is like we're breaking even over here. Lost is that it's just not profitable. And then this would probably be, yeah, it's still to be determined even if it has a high ROAS because it didn't spend enough. So we want to spend enough budget, right? And so this is just like an example where, once again, this is just super random of a test, right? This would probably be, if let's just say the break even was actually 1.4 and this was 1.8, so therefore pretty profitable, then this would probably be a winner because it spent enough and it did okay. And same thing, if this was like 2.5, this would be a winner, right? Because it spent enough and it's doing okay. And of course, like these are also kind of mixed up because it's a demo. Once again, you should double check the color coding here, but I'm not sure why this is not working, honestly. Should be something like that. I'm not sure why it didn't replicate correctly, but either way, we have like color codes. So because each client has a different break-even point and different KPI metrics, we customize the color coding, which I think you can just go in here, conditional formatting, I think, yeah, and basically play with the colors and use color scales and stuff like that, right? So it's pretty straightforward. Okay, and so the extra other thing is that we track CTR, cost per click, everything, so we can keep track of every test. And then this is where we have the winning variation link. So we would put the ad that performed the best, and then we have like learnings. Okay, what did we learn from this test that did well, right? What are we gonna test next? Like next steps. This is really crucial. These are like sneaked on at the end of the page, but these are actually crucial because it allows us to understand what we should test next. And then we can create graphical representations of like, okay, we tested 7 tests so far this month, or 15 tests, ad sets, right? Whatever it is, and then we have like a win rate proportion. So 10% for losers or winners, 30% for losers. Break even is 23%, to be determined is 35%, and then the distribution between videos and images, right? And so this is where you can get creative and create your own sheets. Moving forward, we have an ad copy sheet, and this is basically where we track ad copies, and we try to approve as many ad copies at the start so that we have a lot to work with, right? And so this is where we would basically link, if we want this ad copy, we would either copy and paste this one over here, right? Copy link, you would either link it or just literally copy and paste the ad copy over here. And nothing, we divide this by most aware, product aware, solution aware, the different levels of awareness, right? Most aware being basically almost your customers. They're not necessarily your customers, but people that know a lot about your product and are like on the fence. Product aware, they're product aware, solution aware, they're just aware of the solution. And so here we just write the angle, whether it's, Black Friday thing or Boxing Day, Valentine's Day, whatever. And here's like direct pitch, gift, testimonial. And then we just fill it up like this. And so we have this, and then we have the headline, etc, etc, etc. And so this keeps things very organized, and then we just have color codes for like approved, not approved, to be tested, tested. And same thing with the visuals. We have a very simplified sheet. Here are the videos, here are the images, and then of course here we link everything. So we track every single thing into our company folder. Of course, all of our clients have different company folders, so it's not that we put everything in one. In your scenario, you would have just one folder for you, and then then we have feedback, etc, etc. And this is amazing to track. And then this is where the UGC director comes in play. This one over here, because she's basically also going to manage mostly of this sheet over here. She's going to fill it up, make sure that we always have a full pipeline of content creators, of UGC people that want to work with us, and then we approve the collaboration, and then we send the address, etc., and then we basically pay them and receive the final work, etc. And now here is also the storyboard section, which is where we basically come up with scripts for the UGC creators. So that they know exactly what to work on, how to frame the product, what angles to use, and you can fill this up however you want. And we just basically go one by one and fill them up. And these are like, well, I'm not sure what, this is like a demo, guys, once again. This shouldn't even be here. But we usually keep it very, very organized depending on each client and how many we're doing. We also have a CRO tracker. This is really, really important for when you do tests. So it's very simple. So we typically do maximum 1 test a week. It obviously depends on budget, but if you're doing like less than 100K a month, you shouldn't be doing more than 4 tests a month, because it also depends on your orders. So a test should be statistically significant if it goes over 250 orders. So if you receive 1,000 orders a month, you can probably do around 4 tests a month. Okay, that's typically the scenario. Because it's all based on conversions and orders, right? And so we have the hypothesis, the suggested test, the hypothesis, current situation, version B, which is what we're working on, expected conversion rate increase, right? And then we basically have a Figma link where we do the test. So basically we're changing for those of you who don't know what CRO is, it's conversion rate optimization, where we basically optimize the conversion of the page, the AOV, we optimize the entire funnel. And so whether it's adding a different name of the product, changing the price, adding a headline or a section, we basically would design everything into a Figma link and then have it approved. You can do the same thing with your own internal team, okay? And then start date, end date, the status, whether the test has been finished, and then of course the results, so that we can track increases, whether it's been a success or unsuccessful, and we can track every single thing. We're a data company. You have to be a data company. So yes, you're in e-commerce. Yes, there's a lot of creatives. Yes, there's everything, but you also need to be a data company, okay? And if you actually build systems and processes like this, you have no idea how easier it is to sell your business when you want to sell it, okay? So this is how 8-figure companies operate. And we also have like a TikTok shop creator tracker, where whatever, this is for TikTok shop. And so we have like the creator names. For those of you who don't know how TikTok shop works, is that you can actually work with affiliates that are professionals in the TikTok shop affiliate network. You can send them the product, they shoot the videos, and you pay them basically mostly on commission. Sometimes there's a base. And so we have the creator name, the link to their TikTok, their performance fee deal, if we pay them a fee, the numbers of videos they publish, the total views, etc. And then we basically have a TikTok shop ROI, and this is like very straightforward for January, for February, for March, for April, for May, etc. And so this is basically the sheet that we used. This team that I showed you before makes no sense if it operates under no SOPs, tracking systems, right? How is the media buyer going to do its job if it doesn't have tracking systems? How are these people going to do the job if the creative strategist doesn't have a clear way of understanding what is working, what is not working on an actual reporting sheet? How is the UGC creator going to find creators and repurpose them and make sure that she reaches out, communicates them, follows the entire process if she doesn't have a sheet? How is the head of performance, like, you get the point, right? How's the pod director going to know what the heck is working, right? So everything is super, super crucial. Sorry to repeat myself, but this is really, really important. If you want to build a successful company, you have to build successful and boring tracking sheets. You need to be and also like, this is also taking into consideration like finances and accounting. Like, you need to have your basic principles in place in order to actually grow a business and it be profitable. Make sure that it's profitable while it's growing. So hopefully it wasn't too boring and analytical in this video. Hopefully you can get some inspiration from some tracking sheets. Now, this is not always how we do it. It always depends on each client. Some clients want something different, some want others. So it also depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking to do something maybe more lean, where you have less sheets, maybe you can reduce the number of these sheets. But we find these, the sheets that I just showed you, just keep it super simple. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope it was valuable. I hope you got some value from this video. I know I never actually talk about team structure in relation to how this sheet actually works. Okay, and so let me know if you have any questions. I know I did rant a little bit about this topic, but it was super important. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Subscribe, like, ring the bell, and see you in the next video. Bye. On a side note, before I end it off here, if you actually own an e-commerce business and you want your business and your brand to be audited, we can just hop on a call, hop on a free strategy session with myself or one of my team members, and we can pretty much have a conversation about your roadmap towards next year and how perhaps you can reach your goals. The conversation is very laid back. It's honestly just to understand if there's an opportunity for us to do even business together one day. Okay? With no further ado, thank you once again. And who knows, maybe see you in the next masterclass.